Anyone can get the forecast on one of these, but to prepare, you've got to go beyond the highs and the lows. That's a tornado that's down on Highway 17 north of Reform. That's going to be cutting pretty close to the triple point. This is where Pickens, Lamar, and Fayette counties all come together. It's going to be a pretty rough day. Tell you what, Naral, let's take WEX 05 full screen. These are graphics just in from the National Weather Service in Birmingham. Have a tornado warning. You can see the polygon, the velocity display, live stream coming, storm chaser. That's basically all you need to see. That is going to show everything that we see here, everything that you need to see at home. Let's go live to our drone that is over Patton Creek and U.S. Highway 31. Now, if you've lived here a long time, this is a scene that we've seen before. This is a very low flood-prone area around the bowling alley there, and we've had problems. But the good news, the water levels are clearly going down from what we have seen earlier today. And again, we stress, this is live coming from Skyview. We got a system in the Gulf of Mexico. What better place to report on a Gulf of Mexico system than the Gulf of Mexico? I'm about halfway between Port St. Joe and Apalachicola in Florida. And obviously, there are no tropical worries today. I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky back here. It's absolutely gorgeous. So a lot of questions about the tropical system, and there's a lot of things we can't tell you. A lot of people have beach trips planned this week, and they're trying to make decisions. We're still early in the game. A hurricane hunter is due in there this afternoon. I'm doing this update at midday on Sunday. Hurricane hunter due in there this afternoon. Once we get the data back, we get a low-level center established, then the confidence will be higher. But the problem is the steering currents are fairly weak. This is what we can tell you. Number one, this should not be a hurricane. This should not ramp up to a dangerous hurricane. More than likely, this will be either a tropical depression or a tropical storm. It's the Weather Extreme video. This is the morning edition for Wednesday, the 1st of November. I'm James Spann. Alabama's weather trending mild, in fact, maybe warm in spots by the weekend. We could see a few locations hitting low 80s potentially by then. Moisture increases the chance of scattered showers beginning this afternoon and tonight. Check it out. There's the water vapor satellite view, troughing developing north and west of the state.
Good evening. This is live on Facebook. A large audience, a mass audience will watch this. I know what you're thinking. Why is this guy working in some closet down here? We love these closets. We found these, and nobody knows we work down here. It is the greatest. I took the small one. Everybody else has the big one over here. But this is where I do Weather Brains, and we do the extreme videos in here. And it's basically a closet. I work out of a closet. So let's have a heart-to-heart talk and talk about what might happen tomorrow.
We're just going to watch this together. Again, there's clearly rotation going on with that. This could be a tornado you're looking at right here. This would be north of the junction. That would be coming up toward North Birmingham, Forestdale. Again, everybody needs to be in a safe place. Okay, and before we go to Megan, I'm looking right at what could be a tornado that is down on our Children's of Alabama Skycam. And again, this is a situation where you got to take this seriously. Is this like the big tornadoes of spring? No, that's probably an EF0, EF1 if it's down, but you've got to take it seriously. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, no windows. No mobile homes, no cars. We would advise no driving along Interstate 65 north of the junction in downtown Birmingham, all the way up to Gardendale. We would advise no traveling along Interstate 22 at this point from the junction with I-65 back up to Adamsville. And again, that signature, what you're seeing there, that feature, and again, this could come and go. This could get down for literally 10, 20, 30 seconds and come right back up. These will not be long-lived spring-type tornadoes or fall-type tornadoes we see here. And again, that is part of what's coming through North Birmingham. And this, what you're seeing now, this is live. And while we show you this damage out in Aronoff Drive in Fairfield from Bill Castle, we should also point out we have a new tornado watch. You can see that on your screen. A tornado watch is in effect for the rest of this afternoon and tonight. This includes a large part of our television viewing area. It includes Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, the counties there in yellow. And again, you can watch the ribbon down across the bottom of the screen with the details on that. So this is a situation where statewide, pretty much, we have the possibility of a few of these tropical tornadoes today. And that's what you do right there. You get the dog, you get the kids, you get the helmets, and you get into a bathroom, and you are good to go. We now have a tornado warning for Winston County in northwest Alabama, effective until 6:15. The Weather Service indicating a tornado in the storm you see here in Winston County. This is just north of Lynn, and here's the tornado warning polygon. Let me point out what you're watching on the screen now. This is video of the tornado leaving Reform, headed toward Fayette. This was taken probably about maybe 30 or 40 minutes ago. And again, this thing's pretty sizable. Let's take WEX 05, and that's what this thing looked like. This was the tornado that was in Pickens County. This was when it was coming in a little west of Reform. And I'm telling you, I've probably had 100 pictures and videos so far. And I thank everybody. I can't thank people enough for sending these in to us. And it sure looks like we've become the provider for the other local stations too, which is okay in a situation like this. And I want to show you more of the images of what has been happening today. And again, this is a large tornado seemingly that has touched down in parts of Pickens and Fayette counties. We have major damage at Reform, Palmetto, which is north of Reform, up Highway 17. We've had damage in Fayette County in areas just to the west of the city of Fayette. Let's go back to the high-res radar with the velocity. This shows how the raindrops are moving. As a radar beam encounters a moving raindrop, the beam comes back a little differently. It's the Doppler shift. It's the same reason if you sit at the Talladega Superspeedway, the pitch of the engine changes as the car goes around the track. The engine pitch doesn't change at all. It just sounds that way to your ears. And we use that technique, and we can measure wind velocities within the radial, within the beams. All right. So let's go right now. The mayor of Reform is on the line with us. Benny, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am, James.
Tell us what you know, because so many people are asking about the situation there. We've got live video coming. Tell us about the damage and the injuries and what you know. We're going to extend our coverage to 8:30, Master Control. So again, we're going to keep going until 8:30 because of the critical nature of the information we're sharing. We were going to stop at 8. But sometimes in weather you have to make a call like we do in tornado situations, and because of the serious nature of this, we're going to extend this 30 more minutes. So we're going to stay on television with you until 8:30 this morning. A note from John Talbot, Rescue 32 with Birmingham Fire and Rescue is stuck on a ramp on the Red Mountain Expressway coming in from St. Vincent's Hospital. And understand, these first responders have to make calls. You're going to have people that have heart attacks, people have medical emergencies. They've got to go out in this stuff. And again, they're having trouble themselves. And when the first responders have problems, you know that you're going to have some problems. And that's an example. We do have a few trucks that can do some sanding and some shoveling if needed. We got a few out there, not many, but the folks involved with AlDOT, they're just doing the best they can. Yep. And again, there's a guy. And when you stop, when you stop, you got the old Paul Simon song, Dave, slip sliding away. Do not drive until 12 noon.
Right.
So take it for what it's worth. That's what they say, and this is what I say.
This is why.
Right.
And this is why.
Do not drive in the Birmingham Metro until 12 noon today. After 12 noon, you're fine. Go to the tractor pull at 7 o'clock tonight. Have fun. Have some popcorn. Enjoy it. It'll be a great show. But if you've got to drive before noon, it's not worth it. We always have these heroes that don't have names and don't want any recognition, but there have been so many unsung heroes over the years during these weather situations like this.
But they have good trucks.
They got four-wheel drive, good tires, and I don't know if they got chains or not, but he's getting that other guy.
I'll tell you, that's a mean-looking truck.
That
right
is.
Let me tell you what, I would look good
serious.
driving. I would look good driving that thing to work every day. Dennis, come over. Wait, come over here. This is too good. So, you know.
I finally get to use my snow shovel in Alabama.
Wow.
The station owns this.
You ever seen the movie Home Alone? That old creeper guy that scared Kevin. That's what he looks like. No. This is our morning director here, Dennis Martin, and. So how long have you had this snow shovel here?
20 years we've had this here.
And so now you're going to go dig somebody's car out. Wow. Right. Thank you, Dennis. That's very special. We have brought in a snow cream expert, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things we want to do on the show is give information that you can use on a day like today. So Miss Pam is originally from West Virginia, and she's dealt with snow over the years, and you understand how to make this snow ice cream stuff that everybody's talking. When you saw that, and that's the first thing you thought about.
I know, snow cream.
Snow cream. Behind me, you can see the radar, and we'll just take this full screen. The circulation center, again, is really, I would say, somewhere near the Black Warrior River. Looking at this, I would say that the circulation center of Nate would be right in through here. It's kind of between Utah, Greensboro, and Demopolis. South and west of that, that's when weather conditions improve north and east of that, that's where you still got a problem. And again, the circulation center is going to come right up in this direction, not as wavy as the line I just drew there, but should be passing between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. And the feeder band that's been creating the problem here, it's basically one that's still pretty well defined. It's located right in through here. And that came through Birmingham. We had a lot of interstate accidents. We've had strong winds, very heavy rain, and that's continuing to move on to the northeast. But the good news I can tell you, we have no active tornado warnings. We have no active flash flood warnings in effect for our end of the state, which is great news. Still heavy rain, gusty winds, but the feeder band has moved on to the northeast, that lead feeder band away from that particular spot, so conditions have improved there, which is certainly good news. And we'll check our Skycam coming from Birmingham Coca-Cola. This will be a live look over Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. And the good news about the airport, they are basically operating normally at this point. We've checked the website looking at the arrivals and the departures, and so far it looks as though there are few delays. We saw one cancellation. We had one American Airlines flight scheduled to go to Philadelphia. That was canceled, but everything else, quite frankly, seems to be on time, and it seems like operations are proceeding normally at Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. So if you got a flight out or expecting friends coming in today or relatives, so far so good. And again, that's a sign that they got their act together. They were prepared for this, and many times air travel can be slowed down to a crawl when tropical storm force winds come through, but so far so good for the folks out at Shuttlesworth International Airport. Let's go back to Brian Peters' live stream. Brian is coming up. Let's see, Brian, you're on US 231, right? See if you're still on the line with us here.
Yes, I am.
Well, it was pretty eerie out that day because, you know, it was not supposed to happen, as we all know.
It's been a little over 3 years since a surprise winter storm literally crippled central Alabama.
Now, a lot of people refer to it as Snowmageddon, a day so many were trapped on icy roads. It's a storm that impacted people from all walks of life, and everyone has a story to tell. And James, I remember strangers helped strangers as the ice gridlocked those roads.
Absolutely. Kelly Garner left his Vestavia Hills home to lend a helping hand, but in this Spann storm story, he soon found himself needing help of his own. Again, this is live, and this is what's happening all over the Birmingham Metro.
January 28, 2014, the winter storm that caught central Alabama by surprise.
Obviously, this was a forecast error of huge magnitude.
Thousands stranded on icy roads, trying to get home to their families.
Not be able to get to my kids. That's what's bothering me. I may get stuck again. Every time I move, I get stuck.
Many abandoned their vehicles, choosing to walk, some even carrying their children to safety.
Everything just started coming down in sheets, the ice did.
It's Vestavia Hills for a reason. It's when you get ice and snow, you can't go anywhere.
Good Samaritans leapt into action to help neighbors, including Kelly Garner.
We had all the cars that were lined up off 31 the best we can get them off and station them so that they would not be in harm's way.
But it was Garner who would soon find himself in harm's way.
I have diabetes and I've had it, at that time I had it over 40 years. And just was not a good combination for me to be out doing what I was doing.
Garner's condition, combined with unfamiliar weather, was about to change his life forever.
I said, well, I'm gonna go home. And instead of going left or right on the sidewalk that I could do, I decided to go straight. And that's why I did that, I have no idea. And that's where the diabetes comes in.
The path the Good Samaritan chose sent him falling 40 feet down a ravine.
The point I got to that point where I dropped, I don't recollect anything. So what happened from that point, I don't know how many tumbles I did, how many flips and rolls and what I hit. I just know I landed on a rock and was busted up. Broke some ribs, busted my head, broke a toe, and lost a lot of my hearing in my left ear.
Garner laid on that boulder, drifting in and out of consciousness for more than 12 hours in single-digit temperatures.
He was obviously cold. He had blood. He was laid, stretched out on the boulder on his back. Had blood behind his head.
Neighbors formed a search party, finding Garner in less than an hour.
The area where Kelly was found is very treacherous.
I guess at the point I got extracted all the way until but the fourth day, I was pretty well medicated.
And in the days after,
first I was upset because A lot of people were recognizing me for the things that I knew other people were doing.
Kelly spent months recovering, and though the effects of what happened to him on January 28, 2014 still linger today, he knows everything happens for a reason.
God had a part in this, and that he had a purpose for my life from that point going forward to hopefully help people and understand that in good situations, bad situations, you can make it through it.
Kelly Garner has since written a book detailing his Snowmageddon experience. The book is called The Night That Changed Our Lives. The devil pushed me into a pit, but God pulled me out. It's available in stores. You can also check it out from the Vestavia Hills Library. And that was a day.
It's just one of those unforgettable
Everybody's
days.
got a story. Right. They're small, but they are very effective rain producers. And what's amazing, many parts of the Birmingham Metro, not a drop today, not a drop this week. It is very much hit and miss. This is our Skycam on top of Galleria Tower looking down over US 31 here in River Chase, and things obviously are much, much calmer. Want to go back and see some of the videos sent to us today via social media. These videos were quite remarkable, showing the strength of that water. And again, a lot of this was around Patton Creek. And if you've been here for a long time, you know that Patton Creek has a history of getting out of its banks in many areas, but that water pushed a lot of these vehicles into the creek, sweeping them downstream. But as you've reported, the good news, we've had no reports of any injuries today. And this is a case we could have seen some fatalities today. Imagine if a person would have been in that vehicle like that. And we're very fortunate that we got away without any fatalities or injuries today. But it's been a very wild day for Vestavia Hills and parts of Hoover, as we've had many spots more than likely receiving over 3 inches of rain. It'll be very interesting to see the reports with the sky watchers coming in here later this evening. Let's check out current conditions. The good news about the rain, it's not that hot in our part of the state. Birmingham 85, upper 80s for Gadsden and Tuscaloosa, Anniston at 91. Hot spots up in the Tennessee Valley. They've seen mostly sunny conditions today, mid-90s for Huntsville and Muscle Shoals. Rain out of here. We had those storms popping up around the middle of the day today, and they have just rapidly vanished off the radar screen, so obviously no problems tonight. The bigger storms down here in the far southern part of the state, and more than likely overnight tonight we will be dry. Now, in coming days, we have a surface boundary coming in from the north. That will likely begin to increase the coverage of storms on Friday, and the Storm Prediction Center has a pretty good chunk of Alabama in a severe weather risk. This is a marginal risk down to the south. The yellow here, this is the standard slight risk of severe weather for areas north of a line from Hamilton to Alabaster to Alexander City. This includes Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden. The main issue here, strong straight line winds, wet microburst, if you will, Friday afternoon and Friday night. And once that front passes down to the south, a rather refreshing air mass drops in here late this weekend. By Sunday, humidity values should be noticeably lower and no chance of showers for a change. Becoming mostly fair tonight, rather muggy, some patchy late night fog, the low at 76. For tomorrow, hot, humid, morning sun, a few scattered storms by afternoon. Those could be strong. High should be in the mid-90s, around 95. The wind out of the southwest at less than 10. Up on the 7-day, coverage of storms increasing Friday. And again, those storms could be strong to severe. Showers will likely end Saturday morning, becoming partly sunny Saturday afternoon. And then dry air Sunday and Monday. Cooler nights, lower humidity values. Then moisture comes back toward the middle of next week.